Hello there folks, welcome back to another network game video with me, DoctorBenjy FM. Good to see you, I hope I find you well. Of course, me, Work the Space, Lelujo and Zealand are competing amongst the four of us, and as you may know now, our season last year saw them three qualify for Europe, and I didn't. So that means I get to focus on the league next season, and with that, the transfer window came around and some transfers have been made. We're going to go through them together, as we've done this format once before, as well as a few highlights on the stream that we had over the course of 4 hours. But in a transfer episode, there's not many moments. We had a 2-hour chat about how Football Manager should be and what it's like and what we think of it. So yeah, the VOD for which will be in the link, it's in the description. Feel free to go and give that a watch. But let's go through some transfers then and talk about what we've done in the last stream. So there was outs and ins, of course, as there always is, and let's start with some of the outs then. Tyrone Mings has left us for a little bit of money. It just doesn't really make sense for him to be here anymore, considering I don't think he's very good. So that's that. John McGinn, a similar story, really. When you think about Aston Villa, you do think of those two players. But yeah, both of them have left us now. At cut price deals, it must be said, 4.5 and 5 million is not a lot, really. Like, a massive loss made on Tyrone Mings, obviously. And then 11.5 million on Vecino, which actually, not too bad. We brought him in for a cheap price, really. Became a backup player. Our central midfield area, as we'll talk about at the end of the video, is really strong. But they were the first three outs of the campaign, and yeah, some okay money brought in to an already decent budget of around 30 to 40 million. Another exit for us then was Douglas Luiz, another player that Aston Villa fans I think really enjoy. Aston Villa, a really well-rounded midfielder, but for me, the money we could get for him, that £20 million for a player that featured only 5 times last season, it made sense. Again, adding to our transfer pot, our transfer kitty. It was good money, so we decided to let him go again. A player that didn't feature for me all that much. 20 million? Yes, please. Now, the next one up we've got is a bit of a surprise, really. Nico Schlotterbeck is surprising because we've just brought him in. There's a few players that I assigned that have now left us, but the money gained isn't too bad. £11 million for a decent defender. Again, decent left-sided defender. Was initially brought in to replace Tyrone Mings and be either a backup or someone to play alongside him. Of course, we've still got Esri Konsa here as well. It just never really worked out. Again, a 6.8 just isn't enough at Premier League level for me to think you're playing good enough, consistently enough. So again, moved on. Not that different to Arthur, who we've brought in. I do think there's probably a bit more of a physicality to him that might improve us. But yeah, disappointing really. Just didn't click for us for whatever reason. Brian gave us some big money for him and we just let him go, allowing us to change things up a little bit. When you have a season where you sort of finish in the same spot that you did the year before, you can afford to take risks and move players in and move players out, especially when you're making £10 million profit. It's not too bad, really. So a good player, a player that I thought I'd have around forever for the rest of the save, but yeah, it just wasn't to be this time. So off he goes. Nuno Santos is up next. You probably forgot he was even here because I played him so little in the time since he's been here. 12.5 million is a big loss to make on a player that I thought would have a big impact. The problem for Nuno Santos, and it's quite funny really, I thought I was going to be playing my asymmetrical system that I've got with Norwich, where you use a left midfielder, a right winger, an attacking midfielder and a striker alongside a defensive midfielder and a central midfielder. And he was going to play the left midfield spot. The update recently, the winter update, completely killed that system and as such killed Nuno Santos' role in my team. Again, a really good player, can play numerous positions, but again was brought in to play that left-sided role and now I don't use it anymore. He's been, surplus to requirements is the phrase I would use. So good to get some money back on him, considering he's a player that I really struggled to get anything out of or keep around. I didn't really want him here for a long time. It was a struggle to get out the door. So £7 million actually isn't all that bad. So thanks for your service, mate, of the little service that there was. So the early acquisitions in the window then were Arthur Theate. I want to say Theatre, but obviously it's Theate. Yeah, the Belgian 23-year-old, amazing aerial ability. Worth the space. Jack wanted him as well. So we battled for him a little bit. 90 grand a week to be my new left-sided centre-back. Obviously with Tyrone Mings leaving, we needed someone different to come in. And yeah, this is going to be my guy. Bologna laughing, really. Made some good money on him after a decent season last year. 5 Player of the Match awards from a defensive position. Always impressive when a player does that. And yeah, I really like the look of him again. Great across the ball, really good ball playing defender, physically fantastic as well. And winds up opponents, similar to me, so it works. And the other man we brought in was Paul Onuachu, who is a 6'7" jumping reach machine, strong, and while 29, I think has a lot to offer in this side. If you look at the current ability rating, you'll probably be disappointed, but you know how Football Manager is this year. You know big strikers do the business, and that's why we've brought him in. A little bit of a concern over his acceleration, but everything else is just what we're looking for, really. Playing players off him and buzzing around him, that's going to be the key to this season. Again, some really good central midfielders, midfielders, and Adeyemi, of course, still here as well. But Paul Onuachu looks like the real deal. Good on both feet. I'm excited to see what he does in the match engine. I'm excited to see what he does from corners. Yeah, very excited. Plays with his back to goal as well. Bringing other players into the play is going to be crucial for me. So a big signing, big signing, £33 million. But you can see in the last couple of seasons for Genk, it has been unbelievable. If you can play anything like that for me, then we're going to be laughing. Nunes and Adeyemi weren't quite consistently prolific enough, and I'm hoping that Paul can add to that as well as unlock some of the other players around him. So Aaron Cresswell, right? And we'll talk about Targett in a moment as well. He's just a player that suits us. I'll talk about him more a little bit, actually, when we talk about Targett in just a moment. But you can see at 33, still decent, still got a bit about him. Those mentals are really good. Again, good crossing ability as well, which is vital in the system we're going to play coming up. And you've seen Paul as well now, so you know it's going to be important. Yeah, again, a cut price deal. Wage-wise, it's reasonable. An emergency backup, not expecting to start every game. Again, not in Europe, so just a good backup alternative to tell us if and when he gets injured or suspended. I'm pretty happy with it. So, late June, and we brought in Billy Gilmour. You can see from Chelsea on loan. I'm sure many of you are familiar, especially if you're Scottish. You definitely know him. If you're a Norwich fan, you're probably thinking this is a mistake. But I think in the midfield that we play, the fact he can play deeper as well, like it doesn't say he's natural there, but I actually think attribute-wise, he may even be better suited there. Can play centrally in, again, a number of different roles, really, and just makes sense for us. Again, a loan option, inexpensive for that as well. So, yeah, we'll see how he gets on. Again, not really featuring for Chelsea at all. 1.4 million for the year. It's pretty low risk. And the final out of the window then was Matthew Targett, who's gone off to Germany, off to Stuttgart. A really solid player, but this was tactical really, and it was to do with the Aaron Cresswell transfer that we've made. Matthew Targett is basically a much more valuable asset than Aaron Cresswell at a similar price and a similar level of ability for a backup left back. Of course, Alex Telles is our guy right now, so getting money for him, moving him out wasn't too bad at all when you consider that Cresswell cost me 750k. Getting 10 million for a player that, again, last season barely featured because of the prominence of Telles. And because I'm not in Europe, like, I might have kept Matthew Targett had I been in Europe, because his quality level is slightly above Cresswell, but not enough for it to matter enough for me. Actually, having the money to spend on other targets makes far more sense. So Matthew Targett, again, leaves us for Germany. Sorry, mate, but 10 million quid, I can't say no. So centre-backs, we obviously let a few go. Schlotterbeck, Mings have gone as well. So Jack O'Connell has come in, that left-sided option for a 6'3", really well-rounded. Just makes a lot of sense for us. Just freshening things up a little bit. It's on far less money than the two guys that have left as well. So economically, it's a much smarter addition. I'm sure many of you have had Jack O'Connell on Football Manager. He's just that well-rounded left-sided English centre-back that feels like he shouldn't be as good as he is, but he seems to be. So yeah, and the fee we've paid as well is nothing really. 6.5 million for a player that, again, is just going to be a solid third choice option if required. And yeah, I've got no qualms about playing him. Thomas Meunier next up then, 31-year-old Belgian. We've got Matty Cash at right back, but I thought this would be a really good option for us to bring in. 4.1 million quid from Borussia Dortmund. He wasn't starting or playing that much for them. And I actually think from an experience point of view, from a solid backup option point of view, this is what I needed. Last year, Matty Cash got injured towards the end of the year, and it arguably cost me Europe. I didn't want that to happen this time around. He could even start for us. Like, he's that good, of course. A Belgian international. He could be the man to lead us ahead of Matty Cash. But again, then we've got two players in that position that can interchange quite seamlessly. So I'm really happy with him. Thomas Meunier, welcome to Aston Villa. You're on a lot of money, so do not let me down. Probably have to start him because of that. Right, Kevin Jack are here. So we'll just turn down Marshall Mathers and we'll bring in Jack Peachman and Kevin Chapman.
Forget about the transfer window. This is what we're all here for.
Ben, do you know if pigeons can fly across the Atlantic?
Thanks, everyone. See you next week. It's been good. Genuinely. It's been a great time.
Someone has told me that they study birds for a living and the pigeons can, they just won't. So we have to train a pigeon.
There's a pigeon that flew from the United States to Australia, an 8,000-mile Pacific Ocean crossing.
I left for less than 40 seconds.
When will you learn?
And I've come back and you're back on this.
Like, it's really important that I establish what's happening.
Yeah, they were talking about it already. They were already talking about it.
I thought he saved this for when I
don't know.
Well, no, Ben didn't know the answers. That's why I came to you. You were the next resort. It's like when you go and ask mum an answer to a question. She goes, go ask your dad. And then you come along. Well, me and Ben bumped into a network game fan in the wild.
No. Tell the story properly.
Oh, okay. Come on. I need to hear this.
We were going into a pub
Yeah.
We'll go looking for a seat at a pub, and someone comes up to Ben and goes, "Dr.Benjy, can I have a photo?"
Honestly, one of the best.
I will say, didn't notice me. I was stood behind Ben, so I was going to be difficult to spot.
That's
Because you're so short.
It's true, though.
His ego was radiating around me, though, viewers, so you could obviously see that. Jesus Christ.
So you got a picture with Ben.
As well.
I let them have their photo together.
No, you didn't. Right, I was there, and you're telling the story wrong. Well. So can I please do the story?
You had your photo together, and then we had a photo with the three of us.
What actually happened was he ran over, he went, Benjy, mate, can I get a picture? I went,
Is this not what I said?
He went, I love the videos. I went, I don't make videos. And which obviously I do. It was just, I thought I'd throw him off early.
Good test.
And then as he's about to get a picture, he went, can I get a picture? I went, yeah, of course you can. Oh, by the way, I turned to my right. The space is to my right, not behind me. To my right.
I was behind him.
No, you weren't. He went, yeah, I love the network game. I go, oh, he wish it was Kevin. He wishes it was Kevin.
Yeah, he did wish it was Kevin. He whispered in my ear that. So Kevin's better.
Then we took a three-way picture outside a pub in London, a pub that we weren't able to get into.
Didn't get into. We should have asked the guy for the table that he had.
But as you can see, me and Jacob are happily taking a picture, and then out of nowhere, we're at the space. Barges in.
Are you showing this on your stream?
Yeah. So as you can see, me and Jacob are already pals. And then Jack bursts in, like, oh, yeah, I'll be in the picture. You've got a Jack
puppet.
Yeah, in a way, Kev. Off you, Pop.
Me?
No, not you yet. We'll get there.
That's what the bouncer says to Kev.
I don't go to clubs. I'm too cool.
I would love to see
I think Tottenham will try and keep us.
I've only ever been in a club 4 times in my life. Twice
you
for
know the number,
Christmas parties.
So.
Once to have a look and once to try and impress a girl.
How did the impressing a girl go? That's what I want to know. There must be a story there.
She wasn't impressed.
Well, I'm shocked.
NT. Do you want
to see my Pokemon cards? Did that not work? I'm stunned.
I didn't have cards then, but I probably would try and battle with her on the Game Boy.
That's what I was picturing. Yeah. Again, just a stun.
Obviously, I'd have had my Game Boy with me in case I got bored. I'm not a maniac.
I've won the Streamer Showdown 7 times. Hello. Do you reckon that would not work? I'm surprised.
I mean, this was in like 1999. I hadn't won the Streamer Showdown 7 times then.
Apologies. Do I get any? When do my youngsters come in? Any of them come in yet? I don't think so, right? Oh, one of them's joining. Oh, he really has. He's really not good yet. Good. No, I just did the thing we all did. I just went for 5 that I thought were going to be good. Some of which I will not see for years. He does quite good, actually. If you could bring one player you've managed from any of your series and your Villa team, who would you pick? Good question. I'd pick someone like Diego from the first Glory Hunter. He'd be elite. And Leslie in my chat has written Diego. I don't know if anyone else agrees with Diego, but I would have gone Diego. Weird that other people said also Diego. Yeah, Diego, Philip Gay would be great. Pixie, but Diego was creative as well as he was goal scoring, and I feel like I need players like that. Whereas Gabe and Pixie weren't really like creative in the same way, whereas Diego was. I know someone who slept with Craig David. He sang his songs while in the act. That can't be real. It must have lasted all week. Now these 3 don't get that, but that's a cracking joke.
I get it.
Get that. That was funny.
I did. I went ha ha.
Well, I didn't hear that. So, oh come on, we're an hour and a half in, and we're nearly at June. Come on.
We're halfway there.
We're doing this.
Living on a prayer. Take my hand. We'll make it, I swear. Living on etc.
Okay, good.
It's really hard to sing with the echo in it, let's be honest.
So those currently are the transfers that we've done. Lots of money in, 68 million quid. And of course, we did spend big on a striker and a centre-back as well. 46 million pounds spent there, as well as a little bit of money we brought in at the back end of the season too. So far, we've not spent too much more than our budgets were originally. If you take a look at our budgets, 40 million pounds right now, still to spend. And we're spending it, of course, next episode and next stream as well, of course, on the Thursdays when we stream this. Some options coming in. A backup goalkeeper in Matteo Perez in. I really like the look of him. Buying him from Kev, ironically enough, a bit of a cut price deal. Joe Gelhardt from Leeds, again, a player from Jack, hopefully joining us. Really good backup striker option, and I'll show you the squad in a minute so you can see where all these guys fit in. And then Dwight McNeil is where I'm spending some big money. A really good left-sided option. It might change how we approach things a little bit. I'm still not certain that I'll sign him. So if next episode you're thinking, what happened to Dwight McNeil? It's because we actually didn't decide to go through with it. But still an option for us on that left-hand side. Again, 23 years of age, English, potentially international at this stage as well. I just think he's the right kind of player to offer us a really nice balance moving forwards. Those physicals are fantastic again moving forward too. I'm thinking about that crossing and dribbling ability, and it's pretty good. So with Paul up there, we have to make sure the supply line to him is pretty good. And speaking of which then, this currently is the tactic that I'm thinking of using. Now, of course, with a Mazzala on this left-hand side, with Sabolazai, that could easily become a winger or an inside forward playing up on that side. Sabolazai could play the inside forward role, or Dwight McNeil could play the straightforward wing role. It just gives us a few options. You're probably looking at this squad thinking, it's not bad, you know what, Ben? You're not looking too bad at all. Darwin Nunes is still here alongside Onuachu, and then we've got the likes of Leon Bailey, Adeyemi, Sabolazai, Buendia, Billy Gilmour, Mady Camara and Domblé Sanchez. It's amazing we didn't get into Europe. It's a really, really good side. Declan Rice as well in there, not even mentioned so far. But going forward then, this looks like an 11 that I think could cause teams a whole host of problems. And I'm very excited to see how we get on next year. Odds-wise, I'm not backed. They don't think I'm a contender, of course. Leeds, Wolves and Everton all predicted to finish higher than me. But all of them have international football, European football, so not as much of a concern for me who's without it. My early start to the season as well, Norwich, Fulham, Leicester, Everton, Brighton, West Brom and Blackburn is a little softer than the other guys as well. So we could get off to a really good start. Squad-wise, I'm a lot happier. The backups in each position feel a lot stronger, and I feel like there's a plan moving forward as well. Of course, it's not dissimilar. If you're watching the Derby series right now, it's not dissimilar. There's 3 attacking midfielders, and you've seen that work wonders. But we've got that central focal point up front as well in Paul, and I'm hoping he's going to be the key to everything, as well as Karim Adeyemi improving all the time. That's the secret weapon, really. There we are then. That is the transfer window. Slightly different episode for you today. Thanks to Harrison for splicing some pieces from the live episodes, or the live stream as well, in between, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, drop a like on it. Thank you for sticking with the network game, and leave your thoughts then. Best signing, worst signing, and where will I finish next season? Of course, the business isn't done, but we're getting a little bit closer. Thanks for watching.